the sun and give thanks for today and for our creation. Wabanagi people.
Located in New Brunswick on the bank of the St. John River next to Fredericton, St. Mary's First Nation is a Maliseet community that has undertaken various business ventures with an entrepreneurial spirit.
I think it was a vision of one of our greatest chiefs, maybe Chief Harold Sapir, who was a chief for a long, long time, who really, had an idea that, we needed to be self-sufficient. We couldn't rely on government funding.
There's nothing that binds us down where we should go, what we should do. If we feel, and we've done our studies, we've listened to the consumer, we will go into that venture.
We are known as Wolastoqiyik people, and that means people of the river. We're on the water people, canoe builders, fishermen. Our first community was along the shore of the St. John River, and then we moved up on the hill.
I lived on the old reserve. Right in the middle of the reserve, they had a pump. We had to carry our water. We only had the 3 rooms. We only had 1 bedroom with 5 girls. Can you imagine? 1 bed. And we had a wood stove and oil lamps and an outside toilet. It was a cold house. I don't think they were insulated because on the bed we had blankets that high, homemade quilts.
You'd have to heat with wood. Yeah. And my father, I remember when we lived up here, my father used to have to go out every day and go and get a load of wood in the wintertime with a hand sled. In the spring of the year, he'd go trapping. He'd trap beaver and muskrat and all of that along the St. John River.
Every year we went fiddleheading up at Savage Island or up the Miramichi and that was a tradition for us to go picking fiddleheads. My uncle made baskets, and they lived right across from us. And in the morning, I could hear him pounding ash. That's what really woke us up. And we'd go over and watch him making baskets.
I remember my grandfather in Woodstock, this is in Woodstock, he used to make axe handles and go and trade for food uptown. Like, you know what I mean? This is what they did back then.
Back in, the early 50s, 60s, 70s, our community was pretty isolated. Even though we were in the city of Fredericton, there wasn't a lot of interaction. It wasn't until we started getting into economic development that the relationships started building and more people were coming to the community. And as it is today is that, we have the majority of our customers are residents of the city. I have a very good relationship with the mayor, Brad Woodside, and our city councilors. I mean, they show us their plans, and we have constant communication.
We have developed a portion of the area over there called Two Nations Crossing. And we do some trading back and forth. They have to know what we're doing and what our vision is and what our plans are for the future, so they can actually be a part of it. And I think that's worked well for both sides. I mean, I keep saying this, it's a community within a community, and we have to be working together and not going in different directions. That way, both communities will benefit by the long-term planning.
They can see what we're doing. They can see the growth that we're having here at St. Mary's, the positive impact we're having around the surroundings. So they're very eager to help us in any way. If we needed something, say a zoning law had to be changed, I feel that they're there to help us. Teamwork is a main ingredient for the success, especially here at St. Mary's.
There's a saying, location, location. Well, definitely, there's a lot of First Nation communities that don't have, the location. But I also, think that they still can develop. St. Mary's is involved in a lot of projects, the bingo hall, entertainment center. We have the supermarket, Lasting Impressions, which is an embroidery base shop. We have our 24-hour smoke shop. 24-hour gas bar that is full service. They pump the gas. We have an LPN course that is being taught here in the community. We have our Maliseet language program that's here in our community. We have a daycare. Probably about 20% of our total funding is from government. The rest of the funding comes within, is generated from our own source revenue. We've had bingo here for a long time, and it started out as a community bingo. So, of course, the next step was to go to a bigger bingo, 7 nights a week. So we went into a partnership to get the bingo hall, and we were very, very successful, and we bought the partners out after so many years, and now we own it 100%.
The City of Fredericton is a very big supporter of St. Mary's, and also St. Mary's is a big supporter of the City of Fredericton. It's a win-win for everybody. I bring tour buses in, we rent hotel rooms. We do a lot of sponsorships for high school, hockey, football. So we do our part. We bring bus tours from all land of Canada, right far as Sydney, Cape Breton, to Halifax, up north to Campbellton, sometimes in the States, St. John, Moncton, all locally. We give away about $35,000 on our bingo madnesses, and that's every 6 weeks. We also have a Mega Bucks bingo, which is held twice a year. So we kind of are the biggest bingo land in Canada. We also book about 250 rooms for a bingo madness in the City of Fredericton. Mega Bucks bingos, we booked 400 to 450 rooms in the City of Fredericton, with all our bus tours coming in for that weekend.
40% goes to community, 31% comes to band administration to cover costs like post-secondary. We fund 100%. Anybody that wants to go to school, we fund it. And then the bingo hall gets 29% to actually, provide employment, to the upkeep of the bingo hall.
I have 130 employees, and a lot of them are young kids that work bingo. And a lot of the older ones that work at the gaming rooms. So I really believe our basic success here is because of the service we provide. So we provide, security through the building, nonstop. People feel safe here.
That's what our goal is in our community, is for, to be owned by the community, not one individual, not one person getting rich off of our businesses. It's the whole community that will get rich off of it.
With a successful implementation of the community business model at the bingo hall, expanding that model to traditional industries was the next step towards economic independence.
The traditional fisheries around here would have been salmon, obviously. Salmon, trout, sea bass. We provide quite a few jobs now for some community members and revenue as well for the community. It's a young person's job because it's hard for somebody that's, we'll say 50 years old to go step on the back of a lobster boat and try to learn something new like that. But the guys that I have working for us that are, 19, 20, 21 years old, they seem to really latch right onto it. Most of our guys still have that connection between the land and the water and the respect for the land and the water.
We've been in the business in commercial fisheries for for a while now. Of course, looking around, where there's no water here to get lobster, so you know, we struggled. We had our challenges.
Our people stretched along this river valley all the way to St. John Harbor, so that's where we would have had our shellfish harvesting going on down there.
Being 90 miles away from where you're fishing, you know, community members not seeing it, and you know, there was a lot of wrinkles that we had to iron out.
Without modernization and new tools and hydraulics and big boats, we wouldn't be able to even carry on the way we do today. You know, without modernization, we'd still be picking lobsters off the beach in the summertime. This past lobster season, we had 22 guys, including myself, fishing lobster. And that's the most workers we have from here at one time, you know. Outside of that, truck drivers, buyers, dockside monitors, we're probably employing, you know, 35 people.
We have a great director now, and all of our workers, except some of the captains, are First Nation from here. So it's providing employment, and so we built up a very credible, you know, money-making business.
We have 8 commercial fishing vessels. 5 of the 8 do lobster fishery, which is our main fishery here. We have 3 sea urchin dive licenses, 2 scallop licenses, which is operated by drags, 1 swordfish, 3 tuna licenses, and 2 gas bro gill net fishing licenses. The first year I was manager, we after expenses, wages, fuel, etc., we profited like $200,000 for the year. That just goes into the overall St. Mary's band pot.
All the profits go to the community. No one person has a license. You know, it's all shared with the communities. Looking at the overall picture of it is that it's the people who are buying our fish, you know, that are making the money too. Is that, you know, we would bring it to the shore and we don't see it again, and we sat around and said, you know, we've got to have more to do with this. So we looked at a couple of ideas, and of course, Fredericton missing a few restaurants, and especially a seafood one, and we said, hey, why not?
Wow, we've been working very hard. We're quite proud of what we have so far.
Yep.
Let's take a look and see what we have.
Okay.
Woolstock Wharf is going to be a fine dining seafood restaurant. We're located down on Union Street, which is probably becoming one of the most important streets here in Fredericton, especially on the north side of the river. Lots of light. Lots of light within there.
We had like 280 entries of people who came up with some brilliant names, and I'm sure, thank God I wasn't the judge to have to pick one of those names, but the name was selected, Woolstock Wharf, and pretty excited about that. And I think when you involve your community, like, you know, they appreciate it.
After many months of preparations and hard work, the restaurant was open to serve the communities of St. Mary's and Fredericton.
We're going to get our fresh food locally. You know, we have a great market over town, not us. The city of Fredericton has a great Saturday market. You know, we want to use the local farmers. You know, we provide the fish.
We're going to have two settings, a lunch setting and then a fine dining. Lunch, we're going to strive for a 7 to 9 minute order to table.
We have a couple of staple foods that, you know, considered, you know, known to the Maliseets, like any other First Nation people have, and so with every meal, they will receive, you know, a small taste of our traditionally corn soup and our bread, which in the Maliseet language we call lagalit.
We come up with the native soup, native bread. We put an ad in our newsletter that goes out to our community twice a month. looking for the best recipe. A key, I feel, in our business is to involve the community as much as we can, get their ideas, get their input. What we're trying to do is to become very self-sufficient within our businesses. We started off with a supermarket and a gas bar. From there we expanded. We now have a pharmacy here in the mall. We've taken the tobacco shop, which was involved in the supermarket, and divided it. The mall is called the SITANSIK Commercial Center. Back in '03 we opened up this mall, hoping to fill the need that was in for the city of Fredericton, especially on the side of the river. We have a customer base right now of 28 to 30,000 customers a week. We have a school, it's called a New Wave School, which takes the students that aren't really, they don't really fit in well with the type of educational system, so we have an open type. With our office tower, we have Peace Hills Trust Bank on the main floor. We have 2 or 3 lawyers as well down below, and a daycare center. SITANSIK Daycare Center. And the 3rd floor of the office tower is set for the band administration.
This office complex is almost 10 years old, and we're full. I mean, now the next phase is, with the purchase of our new properties, is to build a 2nd office complex. Yeah, you know, it's doing really good, and we have people calling all the time who want to rent office space, and we don't have it.
Our goal here, and one of our policies, is to employ any of our St. Mary's members that would like to have a job. Right now, our staff is around 178 employees, 85% First Nations, and the 15%, of course, non-Native. All the projects we have, and I'm very proud to say, are successful. A couple of things that we do our homework first. The restaurant, we worked on that probably 3 to 6 months even before we come up, doing surveys, checking feasibility studies, listening to the consumer, what is needed.
Chief and Council's looking at a hotel. In the real near future, we've done a feasibility study, which is a matter of us leaders getting together and making this happen. I really believe a 100-room hotel would be very beneficial to St. Mary's.
We have bingo here, a big bingo, every 6 weeks, and we have to farm them out or try to get rooms. So we thought, hey, why not have it here? And you know, we have a rink close by, the Willie O'Ree rink, with hockey tournaments coming, and the North Side needs a good hotel.
The Band Council is also looking to reinvest some of its money into a Maliseet museum for the community.
Our beautiful artwork and belongings are all over the world. I mean, they need a place to come home to. But not only that, is that our children need a place that they can go and learn about who they are, you know. So it's not, I think it's more for us than anybody else, but also that, you know, we need to educate the general population on our history. Douglas Cardinal is a famous architect, First Nations, who built some very beautiful buildings, the Museum of Civilization to name one. He has a vision and would like to work with us to develop that and actually see it come to reality. So we'll get this done. You can't be afraid to take risks, but also you have to have you know, the right people in the jobs.
We sacrifice some of our profit for our training and to keep everyone involved in the working and to contribute it to our whole business.
That is what our goal is at the end of it all, is that, you know, we want to provide jobs to City of Fredericton. I mean, they're doing a lot of business here. We want There are people here working, but we also want our people to be in those manager jobs and so they can feel good about themselves. I would love to have 100% employment. I want people to be self-sufficient. I don't want to rely on government funding. I'd love to have a day when I could say, no, thank you very much, but we're doing okay.